Hey, my name is Sune, and I am the geography teacher at Dilijan. Geography is the study of the world, and more specifically, geographers look at how different places interact with each other and how humans and the environment affect each other. If you're interested in sustainability, the development, the environment, or just want to know about the world, geography is a really good subject to take. As I mentioned, geography focuses on places, and we're really fortunate to be in a really beautiful place that I hope that we can use as a part of our geography class. So get around Dilijan and outside of Dilijan and see how some of this stuff that we're learning in class looks in reality. Some of the questions that we will focus on in geography is how people are distributed around the world, and why some people are better off in some places than they are in other places. We're also going to look at how humans impact the natural environment and what consequences this impact will have for us later on. One great example of this is climate change, like how are humans contributing to climate change and what consequences will climate change have for us in the future. I would like to give you a bit of an idea of how a geographer thinks. And as many of you, I was fortunate enough to be able to fly from Denmark to Armenia. And if you try to imagine that you're a geographer and you're flying into Armenia and you're sitting by the window and you're looking out the window and looking at the landscape that's coming up right before you land in Yerevan, and you might notice that the landscape is not uniform. It's made out of different elements. And as a geographer, we want to understand these different elements and how these different elements interact. So you might see, for example, a river, some fields, a village, and maybe some mountains in the background. So what we want to understand is, well, what does the river mean to the fields and the village? How does the village impact the river? And so on. You might then look away from the window and look at the people around you. And you may not realize it, but you are a part of a very small part of the population that are actually able to fly. Flying is a privilege that only around 20% of the global population has had. But as a geographer, you will know that, well, poverty is decreasing and the global middle class is increasing. That is great. More people will be able to fly, go out and see the world. You will have more intercultural understanding. But then you will also think, well, more people flying will mean that there'll be more planes in the air. More planes in the air will mean that there will be more carbon dioxide emitted to the atmosphere. And as a geographer, you will know that, well, more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will mean that climate change will worsen. So then you will look out the window again in the landscape that you're flying over. And you might think, well, how is climate change going to change this landscape? The river might dry out some parts of the year. Well, what is that going to mean to the fields and then consequently for the village? Will the village not be able to grow the food that it needs? Will it not be able to have the water that it needs? And this might sound a bit daunting, and I promise you, you won't be depressed after 2 years studying geography, because studying geography is about knowing how these different challenges come about, but it's also about understanding, well, what can we do about these challenges? So focus on solutions is very much a part of geography as well. So as a part of the geography course, you will learn, for example, about the Sustainable Development Goals, which is a series of goals that the world has decided upon that they want to accomplish by 2030. But not only are we going to learn about these goals, we're also going to learn about how can we accomplish them. So how are we going to reduce poverty? How are we going to reduce our impact in terms of climate change? We're also going to look at more technical solutions such as circular economy, which focuses on how can we use our resources more sustainably so that we can use the resources that we need today, but also have the resources that is needed in the future. This is a bit of a taste of what geography is and what you will learn in geography. I truly hope that you found it interesting, and I hope to see you in class.